You know what's funny? I thought my visit to Huang Hakdong Flea Market today would just be a quick walkthrough. But man, I stumbled upon some beautiful artifacts. Knots in my stomach kind of excitement. Let's talk ancient pans from 1940s. Just imagine, right? All those years and layers of flavor these pans have absorbed. It's like every dish ever cooked in them has left an indelible imprint, forming a palimpsest of culinary history, waiting to be explored. Right up my alley, eh? Speaking of alleys, Juwan seems to be lost in the tech labyrinth. Poor chap. Lost his sleep over some project and is now calling himself a night owl. Offered him my secret potion, cooking his stress out. Well, at least until Yuna ousted my brilliant idea with her lo-fi beats. Can you beat that? Not that I have anything against lofi, but baking bread beats beats, don't you think? Nevertheless, we ended up reminiscing about Juwan's killer kimchi jjigae. Ah, that was something. Even Yuna couldn't help but agree, said it was almost as good as the ones from those seaside Ajuma's kitchens. And here I was, imagining what unique recipe I could cook in those decades-old pans, thinking about the magic they could add to the mix. You know, it's amazing how an object, seemingly ordinary, can store such a plethora of narratives, each one unique in its essence, simmering silently within their iron vessels, waiting to be discovered by some passionate cook, pour moi. And by the way, remember last time you told me about my anxious ramblings? Well, yes, I really need to meditate more regularly. My fears are often kneaded into dough on the concrete slab of failure, a fear further fermented by criticism, ending up making a bread loaf of anxiety. And I suppose that's what drives me too, to push the envelope, to innovate, to create. Maybe that's why I am so drawn to these pans. They are more than just metal to me. They encompass a myriad of untold stories, of meals shared, of laughter and love reverberating through the ages, simmering in that worn-out iron surface. Doesn't that make you think? Even the woman at the stall, she was selling more than just pans. She was selling history, memories, emotions. I can't wait to cook with those pans and add my chapter to that history. With every dish, a new experience, a new story, a legacy living in every simmer, every sizzle. I wonder if I ever start my own restaurant, will these pans be a part of it? Can you imagine? A piece of history in every dish. Now there's a thought. Ah, got lost in my vintage dreamland there, look at the time. I should get back to preparations. Catch you later, buddy. Take care. You know what's amazing about living in this city? There's always an adventure right around the corner. Today, I got my heart pumping a little faster by hiking up to the Ensol Tower. You remember that tower, right? Perched like a royal crown on the head of the city? For once I preferred height over depth, reminding myself of my bouldering sessions. It's like my own personal outdoor gym, you know, climbing the steps, feeling the burn in the calves, all while absorbing the breathtaking views. Can't say I didn't enjoy it. The cityscape captured from up there. Ah, a sight to behold. It felt unreal, watching the towering buildings look like tiny matchboxes strewn across the landscape, each one holding a myriad of lives, dreams, and stories. Kind of felt like I was standing on top of a giant plate full of spaghetti, long winding roads being the strands and the buildings resembling chunky pieces of meat or veggies. And you know me, everything somehow leads back to the kitchen. Had a chat with Juwan and Yuna too. Juwan seems to be drowning in a sea of codes. Recommended him to change his environment, maybe try hiking or even bouldering. Fresh air does the mind good, washes away the mental clogs. Yuna, of course, brought up the sea versus mountain debate yet again. Looks like we've got a full-fledged battle between Team Mountain and Team Sea. Me? I'm still Switzerland. Love them both equally. The ground beneath my feet and the rhythm of the waves each holds a charm of its own. Told Juwan and Yuna about my hiking adventure and promised to show them some pictures. Figured out mountain climbing and kneading dough have a common side. They both provide a wonderful therapeutic break from regular work. We're all in the same boat here, needing those occasional breaks to refresh and rejuvenate. Man, we've come a long way from our school days, haven't we? and those soul-refreshing breaks reminded me of our next baking party. Can't wait to show you Juwan and Yuna how pizzas are made in pans from the era of the Great War. That's a trip back in time with every slice, isn't it? My dough-kneading breaks, Yuna's ocean dives, and Juwan's caffeine fixes, we all have our little escapism. Like the taste of a well-cooked dish, it's the diversity of these flavors that we call life which make it truly delicious. Speaking of delicious, it's time for the star of my evening, a movie with a side of pasta. I'll catch you later, buddy. Chef Song signing off for the day. You know what's funny? I got to borrow the time machine today. Well, not exactly, but sort of. Remember I told you about my grandmom, the one who had this magical touch in her food, and how we used to savor those delicious dishes, especially during the holidays. Today, I began penning down her traditional Korean recipes into a book. It felt like riding the roller coaster of nostalgia. It's incredible, you know. Something as seemingly mundane as writing recipes teleports me right back to my childhood days. It's almost like flipping through an old photo album, like recognizing yourself in faded photos, or how a familiar scent can bring back a rush of memories. Just imagine centuries-old recipes with a modern touch. I am bringing the past into the present. In a way, it's the circle of life, isn't it? The recipes, they are more than just text on paper. They are time-tested marks of love and care handed down from generations. Time traveling while staying in one place. How meta is that? Speaking of which, had a funny chat about a band called Seawall. It's an indie band that Yuna has recently discovered, much to Juwan's joy, as it helps him stay calm in the midst of coding storms. They even have a song titled Beyond the Tide. I mean, how can one not love a band that sings about the ocean? It was a chill and calming piece to listen to. I could feel the ebb and flow of the music in my veins. It was surreal. Thanks to Yuna, my kitchen smelled like the sea for a while today. Now Juwan and Yuna seem incredibly interested in the 50s Korean cookbook project, and trust me, they were thrilled when I told them about it. I love how they are always there, ready to take on this journey with me. Always encouraging, always there. Feels warm, you know. Even a dish as simple as pasta brought up a volley of jokes during the chat. I should say, the cookbook definitely spices our conversations up. Isn't it amazing how our roots are so intertwined with who we become as we journey through life? This journey of mine, into the heart of culinary wonders, it's calling me to dive into the depths of my passion, to shape, to create, to share. Looking at the clock, though, I realize I got lost in my time travel expedition. Time really flies when you're neck-deep in work you love. It's incredible, isn't it? The way passion has this magical power to warp time, and now it's calling me back to my present. So let me sign off for now. Take care, mate.